Hello, hello. Hello, world. Are you cutting in to the live stream? Can they see the crowd at all? Okay, cool. Yes. All right, everyone find a seat who's in here right now. If you want to grab a seat. I know there's not enough seating. There's also chairs right outside you can wheel in. This is not a stage. This can just be like a chill area here. So for those of you online watching, yes, the internet is watching us. I don't know if anyone is on the stream, but they might be. They could be. They maybe will be. And if you're online watching, we are in a physical space, and we are humans moving through physical space, and we're all really enjoying our time together. So the live stream is late. Sorry. It's just going to be a few more minutes, but we're all here and we're gathering. So please stay with us, and we'll be right back. Grab a chair. There's more out here. Come on in. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, people here and people on the internet. We're actually just testing our audio to make sure that we're all looped in here. For those of you who don't fully understand what's going on here tonight, I don't either, but we are live streaming from many different angles, all right? We are going to bring in some folks who couldn't make it physically into the Zoom room over here. We'll also show some footage there. We're going to go through the history of Transfer Gallery together and talk about our story and some of our ideas that we want to carry into the future together. And then you're going to hear an announcement about what's coming next from Transfer. So you all are sort of the core folks that we started to bring into here. So throughout this, I'm really relying on you all to share your experiences. So our idea is that as we go through year by year, if you have photos, if you have memories, if you got a great review, if you got a bad review and you just feel like sharing it, I don't know, maybe not. I want you to tweet at Transfer Gallery. So I hope everyone has their faces in their phones for most of this, or parts of this with me. This is a very different idea to kind of kick off a documentary and archive process together. So we're doing it in real time tonight, and I'm asking for all of you to participate with me. So that's sort of the general format. We have been working with a crazy team who we're going to get started in a few. I know the live stream's just waiting, but they're all having so much fun here. So we're 20 minutes behind. It's going to be a fun night. All right. So I think we're going to wait for a few more people to come into this space, and then we'll get started. Feel free to grab a drink, put something down to hold your seat if you're a transfer artist, and yeah, we'll get started soon. Thank you for being here.
Okay, let's test this. Can you hear me? This is Tom. Yes, you can, right? On the Zoom. Good. Can you all hear me on the feedback? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay, meet space. We're all here. We're coming together. This is amazing. Hey, it's happening. Hey. Okay. Wow, it just got really quiet. Oh, the anticipation is killing me. Did you just turn on the stage lights? Are you sure? Oh, maybe it was you. Woo! Okay, that's much better. Much better. Okay, how's everyone feeling? Are we getting cozy? Are we all here? Are we feeling good? Yeah. Okay, so I guess almost in real time is about 25 minutes late, but we're here. We're happy. Hopefully you all got some really good food also and are enjoying that. Yeah. Woo! All right. Okay, so what's about to happen here is we are mixing a documentary film together in real time. So you're going to see a whole lot of stuff on the screen. Some of it's going to be placeholder, some of it's going to be messy, a lot of it's going to be moving around, it's going to come in and out, and we're testing out a concept for how this thing can look. And what we want you all tonight to do is be open-minded, first of all, and give us feedback. So tell us what you love, tell us what you don't love. This is the first iteration of how we're going to tell our story together. And I really want you all to help me and be a part of that. So that's why we've gathered here together tonight to celebrate and kick that off. Before we get started with our presentation this evening, I'm going to introduce the folks behind the curtain back here. So somehow I have an incredible team of visionary thinkers, producers, creatives, and brilliant students, thanks to the folks here at NYU supporting me. Round of applause for all of the people with an imagination who have come together tonight to make this happen. So from the NYU IDM side, Carla Gannis told me to come check out all this cool stuff. And here we are. She was right. This is exactly the kind of gear and power-up that we needed in this moment to tell our story and to start to record all this and bring us all together in this way. We also have support from Todd Bryant, who runs a facility here and is the leader of this program, and we're playing with all his toys tonight. Thank you so much, Todd, for sharing space with us. And Luc Dubois has also been so clutch in helping to make this happen. So NYU IDM is actually his program, for those of you who don't know. So it's great to really be welcomed by these amazing faculty here. And I have this whole crew of students that have been helping me tonight, for the past few days, transform this space. So I really want to recognize all the students this evening. If you're in here, Yisha and Harsh, you guys here? Can you stand up? Are you in here? No, maybe they're running around. They are awesome grad students who have been helping me set everything up. We also have Jocelyn Sheena here in the back, also grads who have been helping. They did a lot to set up everything. We have a student, Erica, who's helping out on our film team, and then a great grad assistant, Derek, who knows where everything is. Because this is very much a lab space, right? So people are like playing with things, putting things away, so it's fun. And then we have this incredible live stream crew. Also, shout out to Pamela. Pamela, if you're in the room, thank you for all your support. I almost missed Pamela. Barry, thanks for coming. Hey, what's up, Barry? All right, so we have this amazing live stream crew as well. This gentleman, Todd Reynolds, came into this project with so much enthusiasm and excitement. And he himself is a very accomplished musician. He's a violinist. He is performing on Broadway. And during the pandemic, many of us did find ways to accommodate our creative lifestyles. And so he learned all about live streaming. And this high-tech setup is thanks to him and his students who have put this together and rebooted it in a bigger, better way for us. So thank you so much to Todd, to Yi-Chen, who is the reason you can hear me this evening. She's our audio engineer on the live stream team. Yi-Chen also was helping us late last night because we've created an impossible audio loop here where there are folks on Zoom listening to us, and they'll be talking to us, and we'll be talking to each other in the room. So that's been a really fun experiment, one of the many loops. And then Yujin is the person who's showing us everything. She's essentially our VJ for the evening. So we got a lot of content coming in and out. We have it being directed by Todd and appearing thanks to her clicks. It's going to be in Windows. It's going to be messy. We're sort of starting to establish a style. We think that the documentary that tells the story of transfer naturally must happen in a browser. So there's going to be a lot of that. We're going to see a lot of that this evening. Next, I'm going to move on to our film crew. So this is the really special part where we're actually starting to put together a film production. This started as a very humble idea from Claudia Hart. Where are you, Claudia? And it was the beginning of the year, and I was reflecting on 10 years, and Claudia's like, why don't you make a movie? So I started talking to the artists, and I did 10 interviews with some of the core transfer artists, and the way they were reflecting the story back to me was just kind of bigger and better than I could have imagined. And the film became a thing when, first of all, Theo Shear, who is our cinematographer. Round of applause for Theo. Here he is. He was going to help me piece together a film in a very DIY way. But then Sal Applebaum came onto the scene. Where's Sal? You guys have all seen Sal because he was directing you. There he is, the man behind the curtain. And Sal's a director-producer from LA, and he's going to be leading this initiative as we put together this film. And we have some great drone operators in the room, too. There will be drones flying in this room above your head. No need to be alarmed. That is a natural part of the process. Okay, these are my thanks, and they're taking a long time, and you usually do it at the end, but I'm doing it at the beginning. So, and I just want to also thank Jen for the beautiful food. I hope all of you had enough of it. The party got way bigger than I thought it was going to be, but I'm really glad you're all here. For those of you who are in the back and maybe not super comfortable, there's a couple chairs up here in the front if y'all want to sneak. People are also welcome to sit on the floor. There's another chair here. You can kind of fill in here if you want to. Everyone, this is casual. You can get up and go have a drink if you want to come back. As we're going through this presentation, feel free. I want to say a special thanks to the artists in the Transfer Fam who've really made this happen. Carla Gannis is the reason we're here, essentially. Thank you, Carla. I've got some special words for you in a few as we get into it. I also want to thank Lorna Mills, who really made a fat sale recently and paid for the party, so thanks, Lorna. That was pretty awesome. We enjoyed that. And then Faith Holland, who created our anniversary gift for us here and has her hands in media and supporting all of us. Alfredo Salazar-Caro, who will also be on drone footage as part of the production. And, of course, my solids, Regina and Wade here. Help me with a vibe check.
What's the vibe, guys? I think it's good. I think it's good.
Good. Are we ready? Are we ready to get started with this weird thing? Are we ready to go? Okay, so what you're about to see is a sort of introductory cut that Sal put together, which again, we're just starting rough. So everything you're going to see in these videos is stuff we found on the internet. Part of why we're bringing all of you together to show this is that we want to all think about how we want our work to be depicted. So again, if you see something you don't like, that's fine. point for feedback. Tell us that, right? And we're going to start to get more into how we represent your work in film. So this is really just a preview and a draft and a sketch of what's to come. So without further ado, let's hit the intro. There it is. There we go. We're gonna work on our media throughout here, so it's all gonna be a work in progress here. Okay, so to start, Act 1 of this film is set in the internet in the year 2013, and if we all think back 10 years ago and the state of the internet, what were you all doing on the internet 10 years ago? Can you remember? What was that? Tumblr. Yeah, of course we were on Tumblr. What else were we doing on the internet 10 years ago? What was it like there? Facebook events. Transfer's whole gallery programming was on Facebook events. Wild. What was it? New Hive. Yeah, New Hive. Oh, Zach Verdon. I wish he was here. Yeah, that's a classic. New Hive. So the tension, I think, that was in the gallery world and in the art world 10 years ago was one where digital was still very much separate, right? And it was seen as something separate from a lot of contemporary art. And there was this tension, and I think at Transfer, we were all feeling that tension. We all knew that was coming, right? I'm gonna pull up my notes because it was a little more eloquent when I ran through it before. Yeah, so flashback to 2013, we really had no idea what we were getting into, but we could feel that it was really important. And I think that 10 years ago, we were very confused about where things were heading, and now everyone has sort of arrived to where we were back then. And they're also very confused. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm even more confused than I was back then. But it was a very special time in the internet. So let's jump into 2013 at Transfer Gallery. Cool, so let's jump into the year in review from 2013. Okay, next slide. Right. So I took a warehouse space on Metropolitan Avenue and I reopened a portal and we painted everything white. We sprayed the fuck out of it. We were wearing Tyvek suits. It was crazy. It was so physical from the very beginning. Before we even opened our doors, what happened in there has been magic. It's something that I couldn't have imagined without all of you imagining it along with me. And tonight we're going to take a journey into the past together. As I mentioned before, I'm asking you to help me generate this telling in real time. And this is the start of an initiative that's probably going to last us years, just as this gallery did. And so we opened in March 2013 with a browser backdrop. Painted on the wall, hand-painted by Alexandra Gorginski. It felt fresh. It was like the first boot up of a new machine. It was the right time and the right place. Not many galleries were focused on this type of work. Of course, there was Postmaster's Gallery. So honored to have Magda in the room with us. And she has been such a source of inspiration and a mentor to me. And is super happy that I could continue exploring a weird adjacent sort of studio practice with Postmasters. We had our second show was with A. Bill Miller. I think you saw some images from that a minute ago. And he's here right now. And he showed me that the aesthetics of ASCII and glitch could be filled with poetry and wonder. And his show was so special in many ways, and we'll get to that. We also continued the most epic party traditions together. So A. Bill Miller, A. Grill Biller, A. Bill Griller. And in fact, it started really naturally, really early because we were just hungry. But what I've come to realize is that when we gather together and we dine together, those are the special moments when we're actually being together and exchanging ideas together, right? Rick Silva came next. It was a most excellent show dealing with an artwork's relationship to the internet. And it was also a show that opened up a new purpose for transfer to really explore what it means to bring work from the internet into the physical space. Lorna Mills immediately followed that. Here you see On Plain Air, and it was very simple, just like a browser page loads. You could come peel off a poster. And then Lorna Mills immediately followed. And so with this show, very early on, the scale of installation exploded in my mind. We would go on to do large format installations with media, but we started with paper on pixels. So you see these paper-based works, which were floor to ceiling in our gallery. We also had some animated GIFs, and a renowned collector from Belgium helped us really understand the power of appreciation in real time through that show. So we sold animated GIFs for the first time there. And Lorna did something at that show which also sparked a movement that would last. You see it referenced up here. She invited a bunch of artists to make work in response to her solo show. So this was an artist who was opening up her solo space to the gallery to become a platform for many other artists. And it became a very special, powerful thing that kept going at Transfer. Many gift screenings. La Turbo Avedon was next, and that show was a transformative experience and one that set the course for the gallery's trajectory over the past 10 years. It was installed in Second Life. I think we have some shots of that. Yeah, here we go. And La Turbo actually installed the show in Second Life. She replicated the gallery scale, and I attempted to bring it into the real world myself. And yeah, that sort of tension and the constraints of the real world became a new game to play when I did this exhibition with La Turbo Avedon. And it's one that I've become sort of transfixed and obsessed with still to this day. And it's always somehow better in the virtual space, but we're still here together. The next show was Girls, and that was a femme-focused night of performances. If you weren't femme, you weren't invited. And that was the power of that night. And how it shaped my practice is somewhat beyond words. As many of you know, at a certain point in the gallery's trajectory, we sort of focused mostly on femmes in our program, and it sort of incubated this movement of women who are refiguring technology. That's a term that comes from Mohsen Alahari. So Zoe, if you're listening somewhere out there or watching this recording, thank you for your beautiful femme energy and bringing that into my life so early on. Carla Gannis enters the picture in a big way here with the exhibition that had the most collaborators and components, maybe still ever. Every media, it was just so much all at once, and I learned new levels of the art market also unfolded when Carla came into my life, someone who had been for a decade already living those trials and tribulations and shared all that wisdom with me. And we had a great solo from Roland Leonard. He was actually the first artist who simulated what transfer could be with this tiny paper model. Can you go to the next slide, please? Next slide. All our X's are here. We'll crop them out. Don't worry. We'll take care of them. We'll crop them out. No worries. Just kidding. We love you all. I don't know if there's a little shot here, but Roland actually made a little paper model of the gallery before I even installed a show at Transfer. So the point is, all these artists helping me imagine what this thing could be. It was such a special moment in time, and I'm so grateful to you all for being there. And to round out that year, we showed Daniel Temkin. And let's put up that slide. Next slide. Next, yeah. Oh, there's a Marina shot. Okay, here's the Daniel slide. Yeah, this was the end of 2013, and when we showed Daniel Temkin's work, we suddenly had arrived in art history. So Daniel's work brought our program into the view of a collector who influenced us a lot in our early days, and also brought along Barbara London to the show, and as another relationship that has continued to show us our context and our place in history. And I'm so happy that Barbara and I are both down in Miami now, and we can still have lunches together. It's very fun. Yeah, Cardboard Jerry Saltz showed up at some point, I think, at Rollins' show. That was Marina, who's in the room. So he stuck around for a while. And yeah, I just want to say specifically that the generosity that Daniel and his partner Amanda extended to transfer throughout the years from this early moment have truly been the foundation of what it means to level up and be a part of this tradition. So thank you to you both. So that was a whirlwind first year. And before the new year was even planned, we had a full roster of shows coming up for year 2, as you kind of see some hints at here, a bunch of other props. And so this is the first toast. I want you all to raise whatever you have, water, glass, anything, your spirits, your voices. Here's to the first year, the most serendipity and the foundation of trust and generosity that this thing continued to develop. Woo! So we're going to bring up a few artists to just say a quick word or toast one at a time. So the first one is Abel Miller, who was show number 2. And so, Bill, you want to come up and say something? Let's give Bill a round of applause. Woo!
Okay, I'll try to keep this really short. First, I wish I could be out on a loading dock back here making some barbecue for y'all, but I don't think it's that kind of party anymore. It's changed, right? Different. So I met Kalani back in Philly at Little Berlin, and within the first time or two that I met her there, she was telling me about her vision for Transfer Gallery. Then fast forward a couple months, and then she's showing me the raw space for Transfer Gallery. Then fast forward a few more months, and I'm making an art handoff with her out of the back of my family minivan in like a parking lot at an Asian market in Harrisburg or something. It was really weird, but it happened. And then a few months later, like it actually was almost 10 years ago to the day that I had my show there. So I had notes, shit. I got through it all, yeah. So first, thank you to Transfer, and thank you to Kalani, especially for having a vision, for taking chances, for supporting artists, for creating opportunities, for bringing people together. And, I'm so thankful to have been included and be a part of it all. It really means a lot, and cheers to 10 more years.
All right, I realize that I have completely blown what I was supposed to be doing from a set perspective now that I saw Bill there in the dark. So, just gonna stop for a second, cut, help the film team readjust me in real time. So, can we get some lights over here? And I'm gonna stay put where I'm supposed to be, and other people are gonna come there too, yeah. And this is the lights part of the lights, camera, action. We already started with action, but we're doing the lights. We're just a little out of order. It's fine though, right? Okay. Well, I didn't sleep much, but hopefully this is not too much light. Okay, we're going to jump back into some toasts. So I want to invite another artist to the stage. Is Rick Silva online by any chance? We can maybe get Rick Silva queued up. Could also ask Daniel Temkin to come to the stage and say something if he feels comfortable. Yeah. Oh, Rick's here. Rick's here. Wait, Ricky, we're doing Ricky first. Rick, can you hear me? Rick, hello. Woo! Yes. Oh, we can't hear Rick, but he can hear us clearly. Are you muted? Is anyone muted? Did I mute him? How's he muted?
Hello, check.
There he is. Woo!
Hey.
Rick, what's up?
What's up? Good to see you all.
How's the stream going so far? Can you see anything? It's pretty dark, right?
That's good.
That's
It's
good.
great. I'm
Okay,
impressed.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's a slight transfer glitches that are required in any situation, right? But yeah, it's great to see you. It's great to see the crowd and see all those familiar faces and the whole transfer family there. I wish I could be there, but I'm glad we're coming in through the digital mode here. Coming in from rainy Eugene, Oregon. And yeah, I just want to give a big cheers. I want to thank Kalani, all my fellow transfer artists, and just the greater transfer family and everybody that's there. The last 10 years have been an amazing journey. We've done, half a dozen projects together. That's taken us from, Munich to Istanbul, Los Angeles to Alabama. And all of them have been pretty amazing in their own unique ways. And I'm super stoked to see where we'll go next. So thanks so much. Cheers.
Cheers, Rick. Thank you for coming. I was really lucky to just see Rick's work down in Texas in the museum show, a work that we showed together in Los Angeles. And Rick was always the artist who, whenever I, needed to figure something out or make a transition in the gallery, he was always down to clown and always there for me to just try something new. So really appreciate you, Rick. Thank you for being part of Transfer. Thanks for coming tonight. See you.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to invite Daniel Temkin up. Is this camera happening, or do I not need to be in the light? Am I in the good spot? Okay, cool. Daniel, welcome to the light. We're getting our groove down now. We're only in 2013, but thanks for coming to the stage.
Hi. So, of course, I first met Kalani at Glitch 2112. Which led up to the famous Four Loko dance party, which basically was Lorna showed up, gave everyone Four Loko, and then disappeared. And by the end of the night, Kalani was passed out in a chair, and it's like Rick Silva was DJing through the television somehow, and there's this terrible video of us all dancing around. But before she sort of collapsed from exhaustion, she was talking about this gallery she was starting. And of course, at the time, it was like, okay, that's cool, but I was a little skeptical at the beginning. And then it just seems like this gallery just appeared out of sheer force of will of Kalani's. It happened really, really fast. And all of a sudden in 2013, it's like this thing is up and running. And there's all of these art heroes of mine are signed up to do these shows. And it was just really just amazing. I think that tradition, which I guess started with Lorna's show that you were saying of closing our shows out, by curating our friends, that's something that's very unusual, I think really special, and really sort of underscores that the thing about transfer that's really different is that community building that is so strong, and I think that's so unusual for a gallery to be able to do that so well. And the other thing is the kind of chances that transfer took on really unusual ideas that other spaces would not be willing to do. The second show I did, the two-person show I did with Bill, I showed an esoteric programming language as my piece. And there have been a few institutions that have shown SLang sort of, as part of these shows, but no commercial gallery has ever sort of taken a chance at doing this. And we never really figured out how we were going to sell this thing. It was just a crazy idea. And it's just amazing that you're willing to go all the way with that and let us try this idea and see how far we could take this. And I just think that's really special. It's something that's really unique. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that was a very special piece. And I think anyone who's worked with transfer really knows that, it was never about selling art. It was definitely about presenting as a gallery. We needed a space, we needed white walls, we needed a cube to explore, but we treated it more like a holodeck than a white cube. So we always kind of pushed at what it could do, and I think that was the really special part of it. We have one more artist in 2013 who I think is going to join us virtually, La Turbo Avedon. Oh, beautiful. I don't know if La Turbo is there. I saw La Turbo floating in there earlier. This might be their placeholder gift. Let's give them a second. Maybe they're there. Sure. But we really love the graphic. Sparkles. Okay. I think we might want to go ahead. Well, actually, while we're here, I'm going to talk a little bit about this show because, yeah, we sold art in Bitcoin in 2013. That was a thing we did. At the time, I thought it was such a bizarre, weird idea and that it would never really turn into anything of value. But it was, made sense. A speculative virtual artist to sell art in a speculative virtual currency. So there we were. That's what we did. I got a Mt. Gox account. I put a Mt. Gox button on my website. And someone clicked it, and they bought art in Bitcoin. And then we sent it to them on a little thumb drive with a physical manifestation as well. So not only did La Turbo Avedon in 2013 do crypto before anyone really crypto arted anything, the show was also a metaverse show. So, it was built in Second Life. It was my job to bring that into the space. And so in one fell swoop, La Turbo kind of just predicted the future. Here we all are. I liked their version of it a little bit better than where we've ended up, but we can talk about that at the after party. Yeah. So thank you so much for the lovely birthday card, La Turbo. And that rounds out 2013. Let's cue up 2014 at Transfer Gallery. Okay, I would love to play that again, but crank the volume way up. And you can take a second if you need to. No worries. Crank it way up. We want to just like really hear that music and feel the energy from it. Wow, the Hyper Salon. Woo. Oh boy. Who in the room was at Hyper Salon? Oh God, Barry, you were there? Okay, we're gonna get there in a minute. Marissa, thanks for the text. You're coming up, so be cute if you can hear me. Yeah, year 2, here we are. Wow, this was also a fucking crazy year. We got engaged with the art market in a bigger way this year, and it also started to become very clear to me that transfer was not that. That's not what I wanted to do. We did our first art fair, Unpainted and Moving Image Art Fair. We also got our first Art Forum Critics Pick, which is kind of the validation for your program as a young gallery, right? So thank you to Tina Rivers-Ryan for that seminal early review of a Clement Valla show. And I think we have Clement Valla in the Zoom. I hope we have him there. GH also, you're always ahead of your time. You were our first show with augmented reality in the gallery and augmented paintings. Some of our early projection mapping experiments together also helped set the course of the gallery's history. GH, we projected on these odd-shaped items, and we had to learn projection mapping for the first time. And of course, those of you who were part of the program early remember GH and Joyce also hosted our transfer retreat, right? Well, who was at the transfer retreat in here? Okay, couple of the same characters. We had a tradition where you couldn't talk because everyone was just talking so much, unless you had the talking axe, and we passed the axe around. So that really solidified our status as a cult and a radical artist experiment simultaneously, which was great. And y'all don't know GH and this man, please meet him tonight and check out his work. Really incredible history. Alma Loro and Anthony Antonellis also both finally installed at the gallery. Having been core components of our program for so many years on the internet, they finally decided to do something in the space, and both challenged the gallery in big new ways to explore new models of installation. In fact, Anthony Antonellis brought his whole family and installed drywall within the gallery, a gallery within a gallery. It was like an art fair booth within a gallery. It was like a crazy kind of recursive, the most labor ever award, I think, still goes to Anthony. Well, maybe Rosa's Spomenik. It's like a second, sort of, yeah. Close second. Giselle Zatonil imagined for the first time what our space would be as a fully immersive exhibition space. And that was such an early prototype. That's something we see everything now. And we did such an impossible early version together with just a couple projectors and ladders and as much as we could. And that has really now become all the rage. Claudia Mate was a big deal that year. And the gallery truly dissolved with that show and became a weird holodeck and a weird financier office. Daniel and A. Bill Miller did a 2-person show, which Daniel just mentioned. We also did more art fairs. We did a very sad girl kitties party with Kate Durbin. That's the Clement Ballet I mentioned earlier there coming up. And yeah, that piece, like so many others, was one that Transfer showed, which was developing a work in progress. Rick Silva came back into the space. We also had Philip David Stearns put up a stunning show of new work. There's Philip's work. I think he's also online and might say hi to us. And the year ended with something else impossible called Hyper Salon, right? Which was a collaboration of a whole lot of artists in our first trip ever to Miami, a place that I now call home. So it's kind of a full circle moment to think about Hyper Salon. But we rented, as we do, an Airbnb. We moved all the furniture from 2 of the units into one of the other units. We rented all 4. And then we did a crazy, crazy installation there. But I'll let you all talk more about Hyper Salon and your experiences there. And yeah, I would like to invite a few more artists now. Oh, wait, but wait, there's more. 2014 also was the year that Ways of Something came into the gallery for the first time. And Ways of Something, for those of you who don't know, is a series of 113 artists retelling John Berger's Ways of Seeing. And I think probably almost all of you in this room are in it, so we don't need to see a show of hands there. But that was a big collective effort also, which really set us down the path of exploring these kinds of solidarity models, how artists can support each other and work together in different ways. And we turned the gallery into a cinema for that, also just transformed what we were doing in the space. So that was a really special one. Okay, so with that, I want to bring up, can we start with GH? Are you prepared to come to the stage, GH? Yeah, come on up. Great. Welcome GH up. Make a little toast. Tell us some memory.
Okay, this is all right. No, you don't want to go there. I have to say for Kalani, who I think is just beyond wonderful, courageous, I don't know, visionary, I guess you could say, but man, she does things, you know, it's like, wow, she's doing that. It's like hard to keep up with. And it's all exactly where the world should be. And I just think it's fantastic. I'm totally, and Carla, who figured this all out. Carla is also absolutely brilliant. And Claudia, who is just terrific, Claudia. And as a matter of fact, all the, should I say ladies, all the women who are colleagues are just, I am totally humbled and glad to be included in that group. So that was that. So now this is for Transfer, 10 years. Oh, you know what? Jimi Hendrix. This is a Jimi Hendrix toast. Okay, everybody, let your freak flag fly. Okay? Oh, you want me to go back? Else, what should I say? If you're thinking about something which is really radical and experimental and just beyond the markets and whatever, which is happening now, because all of the kind of corporate entities which jumped on the internet and kind of ruined it. And the same thing with social media, that it continues that the artists constantly are working outside of it or around it. They use the tools from the corporations, but they subvert them in one way or another, or they free them, or they free the audience to think in a different way. And so you, all my colleagues, are all operating in that way. Because otherwise, you know, what you do is you say, oh, gee, I have this kind of talent. I can kind of work with computers. And I'm good at art, so, hey, maybe I can get a job with Hollywood. You know? I mean, no, doesn't work like that. Okay, anyway, so that's, you're all there, which is really great. And 20 years from now, everybody will say, oh, boy, were they great. They were really. But right now, we get the party.
Thank you, GH. Anthony, do you feel like coming up? Anthony, you want to say anything? No? No? It's optional. You don't have to. Here's his weird. He brought his brain into our gallery in addition to a bunch of drywall. But
all right, I have no idea. Oh, I hate the echo. What happens on this? Yeah, yeah. In order to create a net art piece, just in commemoration of the 10-year, Giselle told me to have ChatGPT do it. So I told it that I am artist Anthony Antonellis, and I need to give a toast to the 10th anniversary of Transfer Gallery. I am not going to read this. It didn't make it a brief toast, but it did end with something that I think is really cute, because we used to call, or I called Transfer Gallery the Cheers, the net art Cheers, right? So everybody knew who you were because it was a very small community and no one knew who we were, but we knew each other. And this says, cheers to Transfer Gallery, and here's to the next 10 years. I think that was Bill's line already, so we can't do that. Oh, and let's raise our glasses. GH did that. So yeah, I won't do that. I won't read these. But yeah, and I like that this is the image for my show, because I intentionally created a show that couldn't be photo documented and had those walls constructed at the entrance so that no matter what angle you stood at, you couldn't photograph it. And what does that say? I wish I could be on it. No one should give me a microphone either, because this toast would go on for about 2 hours. I could start a lecture here. So if we get 4 hours, I could do like a small tutorial in After Effects or something. All right. So yeah, I have no idea what the future is in internet art and net art and Transfer Gallery, because the internet got bad for a little while, and I feel like I kind of left it, and now I'm trying to find the parts of it that are good, and I think that means just we're going to have to build it. That's the cheesy part of it, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to happen, and I have to Google everybody to figure out what actually has been happening. I only know transfer 1 through 5, not 6 through 10, so there's so many faces I don't know in here. All right, so I'll pass this off. Yeah, thank you.
thank you, Anthony. All right, we are actually going to bring La Turbo Avedon in for a short message. She did have something to say that was just sort of the placeholder there, so maybe we can get her in.
You hear me?
Yes.
Testing.
Yes.
Hello. Hi. Wow, what a special moment this is. Seeing all of you here, it really is the transfer. So many people have come together through this space. So many ideas, they were able to grow within the gallery and the community. Kelani, you've always looked beyond the current moment. You believed in us, and we believed in you, to take the right chances. It is hard to speak quickly, to summarize how important this time has been. What a gift, to get to know all of you, to share space with you, to accept the friend requests. This has been the internet of my dreams. Transfer has travelled the world, many worlds, taken us places we never thought possible, all the while being careful, mindful, to protect the ideas as they were being cultivated. It has taken so many shapes and brought in so many inspiring figures. Wade, I can't imagine anyone else who could fill a position like this. You can show up to events in Tabby's and also show up in my favourite video games. I am forever grateful for. These days, these nights, these saved games with all of you. Thank you for believing in a future I feared may never get a chance. ALYSM, transfer, keep on keeping on. Cheers to 10 years of rendering and many more.
Thank you. Woo. Wow, I can't believe we're only through 2 years. I'm exhausted. All right. However, there's another year coming right up, which is, oh wait, there's someone else we're queuing up here now. Who else is online? I think Alma Aloro's probably in bed right now, but and we'll talk more about ways of something in the future. All right, let's cue 2015. Let's do it. Let's move on. Cue 2015. Okay, so 2015 is an acceleration point for the gallery, for sure. We doubled down on art fairs again, and we started to grow the roster. So we had first shows with Marissa Olson, Jamie Ziegelbaum, Malcolm Levy, Joshua Weebly, and of course, Faith Holland and Rosa Menkman. Faith and Rosa are two artists who have not only been brilliant in their influence on what a gallery is, could, or should be, but have been also close personal counsel and support to me for this experiment called Transfer. Faith has saved my ass so many times, I think I lost count, helping to promote the work of other artists. She always stepped in to support everyone else, and I'm so grateful for that. She's generous beyond words, and her work is some of the most bizarre and fun encounters I've had in the contemporary art market context. From people slipping on lube in the gallery to receiving submissions of cum shots for a painting, to asking gallery goers to contribute their underwear. That was a fun show. We got a lot of underwear, mostly panties, but some boxers. And yeah, getting dick pics in the New York Times. Here's to those dicks. Woo! And we also grieved COVID together. So through impossible times, we still did an exhibition. Thank you, Faith, for the care you've shown me through all the years and all of us. And Rosa, the goddess of glitch, the angel of my history at Transfer, the artist who has opened my imagination to so many ideas that are all around us, but just out of sight. And her mother, Lotta, the shining star of what it means to live with gusto, the woman who, well into her 70s, flew from the Netherlands to help us install a 15-foot-tall wallpaper that stretched 30 feet of the gallery's surface. And these two creatures have been such an essential part of my history at Transfer. They will weave in and out of this story, and I really love you too. A few more highlights from this pivotal year. We did massive installations of a 25-channel Lorna Mills show with support from the Moving Image Art Fair. They let us borrow all their TVs. Still really into playing with lots of TVs, as you can see out there. And this was our pivot deep into the real time with Rosa's game, Hilitla, going to the art fair. And that was a really special experience, having a game controller in the booth for the first time. This is the show we did together a few years later called Behind White Shadows, which was also a really, really mega physical show. And this is also the year, of course, that we had Demoda showed up onto the scene. Alfredo, I hope you're getting warmed up for your little moment over here in the light. All y'all, right? So this was our first foray into virtual reality, an effort that, again, is based in brilliance and generosity from Alfredo Salazar-Caro, the founder and instigator of Demoda. And watching Alfredo give to the studios and the way that he created space to work with artists in a way which was both studio practice, but also about the tech and being deep and integrated into a complex new technology really opened my eyes to how artists and technologists can work together, which is something that many of you know I'm exploring now in a different way. But thank you, Alfredo, for bringing that brilliance into the gallery's history. Also, you know, it was the first time that I showed VR, and we were on DK2 then, and it was wild and messy and weird. And for those of you who don't know, the Demoda continues. It's had many versions over the years. When you go into this fantastical museum, you go through a portal, and you're suddenly in an artist's entire new world. And many of those worlds are not just about simulating our world, but about different ways of seeing and thinking. I still think it's way cooler than 99% of any of these virtual museum things that are out there. So if you haven't been in Demoda, please take a look. We have a beautiful video on the TV back there. And so I'm going to open it back up to y'all now. Maybe we can pull in Marissa Olson on the live stream. She was the first one in 2015. I think she's hanging out there. Mo? M-O? No? All right. Well, we can start with the next show, which was Malcolm Levy. He's a meat space person, so we'll load him right up. Come on up here. Say a word or two, Mal. Of course, many of you know Malcolm now as like the founder of Refraction, which also brought a whole bunch of transfer fam into the fold to make that happen.
So, I mean, try to do a toast here and really talk about trans. There's really so much to say about community, and most of all, I think what happened when transfers made so many folks from the internet around the world come together, feel at home, feel part of something, and really give us so much joy. And from the retreat to the hyper salon to all of our shows, I feel that joy emanated in ways that really changed the way that people thought about art at the time, certainly in our world. And Kalani, the way that someone who does events as well, the amount of work and intention that you put into every single, the amount of work and intention, thank you. The amount of work and intention that you put into every single show and how it made all the artists feel and what that did for all of us is something that I think is incredible because, without it, I don't think so many of us would be where we are today and what we do. And I think the other thing you did is you really did predict the future. So much of what happens now, comes back to transfer. And I tell this to people all the time. And it's amazing. And so hopefully the next 10 years and everything you're saying now, I mean, we all know you're going to be right again. So thank you so much. Thank you to everyone.
I'm crying a little bit, so I'm not going to come back into the light right now. Did we locate Mo? Is she there? Marissa Olson? No? Oh, okay. I thought she was texting, but Faith Holland. Can you come on up, Faith? I'm going to give you the mic.
Okay, this is terrifying because I think I'm going to cry. But I am this way. I am on camera, so I'm going to try really hard not to do that. But what Kalani says of my generosity, that came later. What came first is I was a hanger-on. I came to every single transfer show. I participated in every single GIF closing show. I think I might be the one person that did like every single one. Exactly. Thank you, Carla. It was 4 people that participated in your closing, and I was one of them. And that bumps me up to participating the most. I wanted to do a show at Transfer so bad. The moment that I stepped foot into that gallery, I saw Kalani's vision, and I was just in awe. It was just exactly what I was thinking about and exactly what I wanted to do. And I am so exceptionally proud of the things that we did together. 3 solo shows, 2 shows in the fucking pandemic that were so hard as a new mom, too. But the thing that I am absolutely the most grateful for is the friends that I made along the way. And this is why Transfer is so special to so many people in this room, because I met everyone that I would call a best friend through Transfer. And not only best friends, but mentors and people who have really held my hand through this whole art thing, which is still fucking terrifying, as is all of this. But Transfer was not only a place where a bunch of us would gather to look at art, but it's also a place that we would gather to celebrate Thanksgiving. And I don't know if I'm ever going to find that again, but I'm really, really glad that I found it here, and I am forever grateful for that. So thank you to Kalani. Thank you to all the people in this room who have made Transfer such a special part of my life. Please get me out of this light. Love you.
All right, Rosa, you're up. Welcome to the light. Here you are.
Just want me to talk? Okay, I have more than one thing to say, but I don't even know where to start. I think the most important thing is like, the most things that are important are the recent things. There is not like anything that is, it's the thing that is burned into your memory. 6 days ago, I got 40 years old, and my mother told me, I called Kalani, she has something for you. Oh no, it wasn't that. Kalani called me. That was it. Kalani called me, and she took care of it. And she was like, I want to be there, but Kalani is doing it. Imagine this, like this is not, it's not, you know, like we have, also like Transfer Gallery is a thing that you run, is the most beautiful thing, but we run a whole thing besides it. It's a family. And I think the Transfer Gallery is a thing that you see online, but what is really out there is a network that goes beyond the online, right? Like that's why things get strong. That's why people invoke power. That's why things get pronounced beyond like what you want to pronounce, because you feel able to say it, because you feel safe in a safe place. And that's what's there. Transfer Gallery is a place that we share, not just art, but the roots are always already there because we have the love with the space, right? And so 6 days ago I had it. 2 weeks ago we had it. We have it next week again. But today's a special day because we all have to have it in this moment. And I think what's specifically special now is that all of us get to see each other's faces while we feel it. And how often do you get to see the people you love to celebrate something that is so close to you? I don't know, like it's just, it doesn't happen. Like, I don't know, like I've lived through a pandemic, I lived through moments that I wanted to see people and not everyone shows up. People show up. That's what we're here now. We're here because we are so happy that we had this for more than 10 years, because it's been, between you and me, it's been way more than 10 years. I mean, so thank you for being my family. and let's grow our family in the weirdest ways possible.
Alfredo. Alfredo's coming up next. Who in here has been in the Demoda? Do we have any other Demoda artists in here? Oh, yeah, in the Demoda. Claudia, you know, I told you I'm going to give you the mic, but just in a minute, all right? Next year. Here he is, Alfredo. Alfredo's also helping us. Also helping us on this weird film production. So thank you for jumping in and bringing your drone to play.
Yo, peace, everyone. Yeah, what a time, yo. 10 years. That shit goes by way too fast. I feel like I was 25 years old, sleeping in Transfer Gallery, coming up with Demoda. So Demoda is actually the reason why I am vegan and I don't drink, because I couldn't afford to, and I was like trying to make the show happen, and I didn't have a fridge at Transfer Gallery, so I just ate like bananas and apples for like a whole month, and they didn't have a shower either, so I would get like a cheap gym membership and shower at the gym, and you know, so people wouldn't think I was like the weirdo that just showers at the gym. I would actually work out. And then I didn't drink because I was like, I got to get this show done, you know? So I didn't do that for like a whole month. And after the show happened and it was great, I was like, shit, this is the way to live. So I just like stayed that way. So thanks, Transfer, for giving me a lifestyle change. But for real, though, I mean, Kalani, like you took a chance on this crazy stuff before anybody else did, you know? And nobody else cared about this because there was no money to be made in it. So what I've loved about Transfer this whole time is that it's always had this punk spirit, you know? I remember meeting you and Abel Miller and Anthony and hanging out with Rosa back in Chicago and, you know, in this grungy Chicago spaces, you know, back in those days. And just like really feeling that energy, right? Like we were doing the stuff that nobody else was doing. And I feel like you really took that and, you know, elevated it to this level. And now look at this beautiful group of people that are coming together to celebrate this. So all I can really say is, you know, thank you. Thank you for believing in us, for believing in me, for, you know, and I mean, that's it, you know, thank you forever. Like, what a gift. 10 years. Thank you.
Okay, I think we did actually get Marissa Olson on the line, so let's cue Marissa. Shh. Okay, this is literally what her show was about. It was called Getting Ready, and the entire time she was just preparing for her show, and then there was a performance at the end, and that was a solo. It was amazing, and I guess she's now continuing this with a new series of work called Maybe I'll Zoom In. But I think what we're going to do right now is move on to... Oh, she came! Here she is! Oh, my God! Are you ready? Hello? This is next level. I love it. Can you hear us? Yeah, welcome. Can you hear us? Is she speechless?
I'm getting ready, as they say. No, I am here. That was an inside joke about the title of my show at Transfer. I can't see if I'm on the screen. I guess you can see me. I'll turn the volume down on my TV. Okay.
Yes.
This has been so incredible already. Like I've been on the verge of tears this whole time. And like Anthony, I could probably speak forever. I think I'm the reason the ACT thing started at the cult meeting. So I just wrote a little thing that I'm going to read really quickly. Hi, Kalani and Wade. Thank you so much for inviting me to your digital Seder. I'm super excited to wish Transfer a happy 10th birthday. Oh, that's what I look like now after well, that's what I look like. From my solo show, Getting Ready, in which Kalani let me sleep in the gallery's art hole, to minute 14 of the legendary Ways of Something, Lorna's project with all of us, to getting paint all over ourselves at the Miami Hyper Salon, to the Transfer Artist Retreat, about which I will just say, if you know, you know, to the literally groundbreaking exhibition Pieces of Me. It's been a huge honor to be not only a part of your programming history, but also to be a witness to new media art history in the making. Kalani, I know that you have given your blood, sweat, tears, and more to Transfer, which is so much more than a gallery. It's a community, a family. I don't think it's a coincidence that we've all been referring to this as a family tonight, and a source of information and inspiration for thousands of people around the world at this point. And now with Wade on board, I know that the two of you are going to do so many more exciting things in the next 10 years. So I'm so proud of you and inspired by you. And I just want to say, I'm sorry I can't be there tonight in person, but I'm glad to be here virtually, and congratulations. Love you.
I'm here. Behind the scenes. Thank you, Marissa. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Q 2016. Moving on in history here. The transfer download, wow. Started that year. Okay, wow, what a year we got here. All right. So this year started with a solo of new work from Carla Ganis. And as I mentioned, Carla came into the picture many years prior, but this is the Carla appreciation moment. So first of all, this series was an incredibly personal and vulnerable series for Carla, and it was an honor to help realize it through a special exhibition design. We created these private moments of sort of altar worship, hyper-mediation on the self, and the most advanced deployment of an AR artwork that I have ever experienced at that time. For those of you who don't know, this series is subject self-defined. It was also a book, which is fully augmented reality, and was just doing really incredibly boundary-pushing stuff with AR at the time. Also, a few years prior, the Garden of Emoji Delights had entered the picture. And I'd have to say that that work is still the most circulated work that Transfer has helped bring into the world, mostly due to the tireless effort from Carla herself to promote and show the piece. And Carla is an artist that has remained so loyal and committed to me as an agent. She always pays it forward when her work does well, and to this day, she's still cutting me in on deals. It shows that she values my effort, and that means so much to me. And Carla, you also have done so much for my confidence as a gallerist. You've helped boost and shine on so many collaborators and other artists through your practice. You've shown me what it means to teach and lead and bring others into the light with you. And you're the reason we're all here tonight, of course. With your generosity, you could see I had an idea that needed some extra resources in a really crucial moment of the gallery's development. And despite a mega museum solo show you have coming up, you took on the time and effort to make this happen for us, so thank you. And that was just the start of this year, Carla Ganis, and a really fabulous show. We also did a Lorna Mills installation so big you could see it from space. And that was the midnight moment when it was still a young program. We put animated GIFs there in Times Square. It was a great feeling. More art fairs, our first shows with Angela Washko, Morishana Lahari, and Claudia Hart, which these women were, again, seeds of a great movement that began to take shape at Transfer. Also that year, both Morishan and Angela Washko presented works which were sort of prototypes or the first in a work of series to develop, and that was something really new for a gallery, to show something that was just like chapter 1, right? Because usually work is shown when it's completely finished. But we sort of opened up a whole new way of working, thinking about versioning, thinking about deep research-based practices and the kind of support and structures they need to grow, a space for trial and error, a space to showcase an idea while its form and research is still coming into view. Also in this year, the transfer download came into the world. Yeah. The transfer download, it's funny now, when I tell people about the transfer download, you know, it's sort of become so ubiquitous to see floor-to-ceiling 3-channel projection that you have to really get into some of the special things about the transfer download, which were obviously that the work was curated each time to respond to the time and place that it was being shown. The architecture was addressed in how the exhibition design was produced. And I think the most special thing was, again, this idea of us creating a context together around this kind of work. So we were able to create these sort of curatorial statements, curatorial selections, right? The download is a download of all the ways artists are working with media-based practices, working with animated GIFs, algorithmic work, working with video games, VR, virtual spaces, and we brought them all together into this format, which it's very easy to see, and we took that show on the road. And that thing still has been bringing new work into the world. Many artists for the first time working with large format media through the transfer download. So it's been a very special part of the gallery's history. And we ended the year with a showing in Miami of the second version of Demoda. Got the second one out and took it to Miami. That was super fun. So a toast now to the gallery. I want to bring 2 women up who have been so central, both Claudia and Carla. Since you're here, Carla, I think I'll give you the mic first.
Hello, everybody. That's a really bright light. I step here? Okay. All right. All right. I'm good. I am so happy you are all here, and thank you for coming, and thank you, Kalani. When I first met you, I was just so convinced and overwhelmed by your vision and your enthusiasm and just your spirit. And I knew I wanted to work with you, and I was so grateful that you believed in me. And we've had many conversations about this. You know, any of us who have traversed, you know, working with new forms, new media, you know, emerging technologies, or just emerging ideas that aren't there in the kind of traditional, you know, in any kind of traditional context, and to find somebody like Kalani who would support it. And I remember I was doing this non-facial recognition project. It started in 2013, and I made Kalani Peggy Guggenheim. She didn't have the money. Kalani is always like, you know, working her ass off, but she has the fucking vision. I use a curse word. I'm sorry, students. But anyway, and I'm just so happy that, you know, over this 10 years, I have gotten to know all of you and gotten to continue to work with Kalani and be a part of something really, really crucial. It is, you know, we talk about paradigm shifts. Paradigm shifts aren't the release of a new app. They're a release of all of your creative visions and what you all are doing, and it is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, honey. Claudia, can you please make your way to the stage now? Claudia Hart. I didn't prepare a formal thank you to Claudia, mostly because we're in the middle of something really intense right now, which we're going to talk about right now together. But this woman has really, I think, shaped a lot of how I've developed in the contemporary art market, and as a creative individual, as a creator, as someone who's trying to understand and navigate these terrains. Claudia Hart and I think first we did The Doll's House, which was, again, a big 2-channel projection. playing with projection maps, mapping, 3D printing, all kinds of new stuff. And then we did this psychedelic tea parties here, which you said you want to toast to. So we got the image here. And so this again was something where Claudia's sort of background as an educator and scholar made its way into how we brought people into the space, and we opened this up to play and demo and test. And we had these lovely tea parties. We refined the piece out in public. And wallpaper has been a sort of part of Claudia's practice for a while. Maybe we can get another mic queued up here for when Claudia takes the mic, because we're losing our connection a little bit here. And yeah, now for the last year, Claudia has been helping me navigate a new territory as I help launch an organization and move into the world of institutions and evolve what I'm doing. And as someone who's been within the institution for so many, many, many years, and still somehow
still alive to tell the tale. So
she's really helped me understand where we're going next. And I'm inviting you now, Claudia, to say a few words.
All right,
and then I'm also going to put your work, so don't use your
okay.
words for that.
So I want to say that I'm a native New Yorker, and I was out there in Chicago. I got a job in the boondocks. It was very painful. And many of the Chicago students are transfer people. And so actually it was Carla, I think, who introduced me. And Kalani decided to introduce me to the internet younger generation of artists and brought me from Chicago to do not this show, but the show before. I didn't know anybody. And so what we did was make a series of small tea parties where we invited people who I would like to meet and who we thought would like to meet each other. That was the trick. And and those tea parties, I think, are in the tradition of this, because a lot, to me, of what you're about is creating conversation and bringing people together and creating community, which we see here and extends into your project with the EAT and everything else that you're doing now. And I think that's the totally different and extraordinary thing that has to do with contextualizing and doing all that. I do realize after seeing this that Lorna, are you still here? Lorna's big show where she did those iron things, when you moved, I don't know how, but you dumped them in my backyard where they sat, I now realize, for 10 years. This summer, they rusted. And I just want to say
for the record, that was not a Lorna show. That was funded by Giphy.
Oh, that was the Giphy.
That was the Giphy Sextet. The 6th channel, anyone remember that? Bill Miller was in it.
So the Giphy, I want to tell you the end of the Giphy story, because this summer, some guy came by and had been prowling around our neighborhood and asked if he could buy them as scrap metal.
Perfect.
And we couldn't figure out, it was rusting and it was there forever, and I don't drive, and so there was no way to get rid of it. And this guy showed up and, like, bought it. So, yeah, that was somehow, that's very symbolic. I'm not sure how, but it's a kind of happy ending. So,
I still have art in your basement, actually.
But I want to say, yeah, I know.
Oh, you want to say something else?
I want to say the last thing. Like, Kalani introduced me to the world because I was too early, and the worst thing to be is too early. And I was so early, I didn't know anybody, and I was isolated. So you introduced me to the world, and in the past year, my life has so radically changed. I have a lot of opportunities, and I enter the world at the age of 68. So, right. That is so awesome, right? So, bye, Mom. See ya. Don't be mad. I know you will be. But I still love you.
I love you. For those of you who don't know, Claudia Hart's about to release a big new project. It's been months in the making. It's a collaborative work with Andrew Blanton, who's also here in the room with us tonight.
Hi, Andrew.
And we are releasing it on Friday. It's called Systems Madness. It, in fact, drove all of us mad, absolutely mad. You'll really see it in the work, too. It's a very moving piece. It's a really intense piece. And yeah, you can own it. You can live with it. We're doing all sorts of different things with, sorry to say this word, NFTs. But we're pushing it. We're pushing on it. Hopefully it's something interesting and fresh and different. And you can check it out. We're having an event on Friday the 14th, so the end of this week, at EET Works down across from the Whitney Museum. And we'll release the piece there. It's a great evening of talks, so we hope you all will join us there. Was that a good plug?
That was a great plug.
Buy the art, 0.444 ETH. If you want to get on the allow list, let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia.
Okay, who gets the mic?
I think that's it.
All right, nighty-night.
2017. Q 2017. All right, this starts to get a little quicker now in our review here. Just give me a second. I need to pull this up here. We're also running late. Okay, I'm just gonna have to wing it. Can't find it. So, okay, 2017. Yeah, this was a year of transition. You can just scroll down a little bit. We had Eva Papamargariti join the gallery. We had the sextet, which you just heard the story from Claudia Hart that year. We had the second show with Rosa Menkman, the Spelmanik there. We had another show also with Faith Holland, which was really amazing. You see the transfer download took us all over the world this year. We installed the transfer download in Shanghai, which was an amazing experience with the Kronos Art Center there. That's good. That's 2017, so we're good here. Let's go back up. Okay. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I lost my place here. I think, no, Eva's asleep. Can you scroll down some more? I'm sorry, this is not a great. Yes. Yeah. That's true. Regina's coming into this story momentarily. I need to pause for a second. I need to just like hit the pause button. So can we do that? Is that cool? I don't know how that works, but that's what we're gonna do right now. Yeah, I think it's like 9:45, and we have a hard out time in 15 minutes. So I'm just trying to like check on set what the vibe is. Like, where do we go from here? Saul, can I give you the mic? I need to step out of the light.
I'm gonna step into the light. I don't know, how many more artists do you want to present? Okay. Oh my God, I'm so on the spot now. I don't even know what to say. Yeah.
Somebody gave me a microphone. Let me tell you what I really think. Let me tell you about what I love about Kalani and Transfer Gallery. One is, you know, we talk a lot about technology. And why do we do that? And like vision and new ideas. And we do it because we're all trying to find some way to wring whatever meaning we can in this like cluster we're all together in. And one of the amazing things about Transfer Gallery is, and what Kalani does, is that it's focused on people. And there's a family in this room. And you can walk into it, you know, I'm across the country most of the time. You can walk into this room immediately and feel it. And as a person who dabbles occasionally in organizing art things, it's not to be understated what a triumph that is to have a group of people in a space that have that sort of care and understanding and camaraderie with one another. The second thing I'll say is Kalani had, there's a sheer determination and tyranny of will which has kept Transfer going all of these years. This lady has not got a big break that some breaks, not a huge one, and it's only through her sheer love and determination of everyone here and what she's doing that this has succeeded. She does not have a great uncle that works at Saudi Aramco, she's funded this largely herself, and that is an admirable, I have so much admiration and respect for what she's done, keeping this going, because there are no words to express how difficult that can be in a world where you see things happen and become hugely successful that you were 10 years ahead of time, and it feels like stuff passes by. That's a very difficult thing to see and keep going and keep the focus on the people and love and staying together. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you for saving my ass because I needed a break too. Okay, so here's the deal. Every time I start to go through this history, this is what happens. There's so much of it. It gets so intense, and I only get like up to 2017, 2018, which are really the pivotal years where Transfer really started to change, right? Like we moved into doing shows more into Manhattan, trying to understand what it meant to have a gallery in that space, trying to understand where our place was in Grow or Go and that whole system of the art world. And it was a really, transitionary time, and we all experimented with a lot of different stuff. And I want to cue up 2018 because it's really important to me that we get Regina Harsani up here. So if you can cue 2018 for me, the video, as Regina comes up. '18 was the first time we started an organization. Now we're doing it again. 2018 was the year the current came into our lives, but it was also the year that we did a bunch of work on Canal and in the spaces in Manhattan. And Regina was the one who made that space possible for us to explore. And I'm really happy to have you here. Thank you for saying something tonight.
Thanks, Kalani. And thanks to everybody who stuck around. I actually first met Kalani when I was in graduate school. I'm glad I didn't recognize who she was, or I probably would have been too afraid to go up to her. But I enthusiastically did speak to her that night to undoubtedly nerd out about time-based media conservation from the get-go. And that really showed me that Kalani, from the moment I met her, was dedicated to supporting media arts, like truly and genuinely. She is, and Transfer Gallery remains, one of the only genuine corners of the arts, period, keeping me optimistic and feeling like, as Daniel said at the beginning, that there's a sense of community, or cult, held together by actual love for what we do. And everyone needs to understand that Transfer has primarily been a huge labor of love, so I'm so glad Barry brought that up. It is all just love and people with full-time jobs, like taking their time to care about these artists in this field. And after Kalani and I met, I continued to pester her at events like Moving Image Art Fair that you saw, where she was showing Claudia and Rick Silva. And then we did Claudia's Flower Matrix, which you also saw together in a basement on 14th Street. We called it a speakeasy, a VR speakeasy, which broke from the Brooklyn tradition for one of the first times. And then a company I worked with at the time called Wallplay somehow acquired 26 spaces across Canal Street. I think it was 23 actually at the time. And I needed to bring, Kalani into that, and as Kalani mentioned, was still interested in experimenting with Manhattan spaces. So we've done at least 6 shows together, which is crazy to say out loud, including Zardulu and Fizzero. Julia Kagansky also curated Forging the Gods with Transfer Gallery, which was an amazing show to have an alternative space. These like rinky-dink spaces that were not at all meant to show art. We did a redux of the original Rick Silva show from the first year, and then pieces of me over the pandemic. Huge labor of love. Some of the pieces are showing outside. And now the Transfer Archive, which hopefully Kalani will get a chance to talk more about. I still can't believe what we've done and that I've had the privilege to be a part of this. It is absolutely a privilege, and I've been obviously incredibly influenced by the work that's been done by Transfer. And thank you so much for taking me on this journey, and this is only the beginning. Not tonight, though.
Okay, we're just speeding through now. Q 2020. Enter scene right. Wade Wallerstein enters the picture in 2019. Come up here, honey. In 2020, yeah, 2019. 2019, the gallery moves to LA. Now I'm on the West Coast. This beautiful creature is in vicinity, and we get to start spending time together doing crazy shows. And he helped me establish a new space in LA, a bunch of relationships with amazing artists in LA, brought new artists like Cassie McWater into the sort of fold of the gallery, and was there for us in pandemic. And I'm going to pass it off to you to say what you would like to about Transfer, and also maybe kind of set the stage for, well, now what the fuck, and what happened as everyone was suddenly online with us.
Hey, everybody. Thank God I got the mic, Jesus. A lot has happened in the past couple of years, but first of all, I want to set the scene, right? Like, it was 2018. I had just finished grad school. I was home in California. I'd been gone for 7 years. I had no friends. I had no place in the art world. I had actually eschewed the art world, and I took a degree in anthropology, of all stuffy and colonial fields of study, honestly. And I was home, and I was sitting at my parents' house where I was living, and I didn't know what was next. And I saw that Kalani was moving to California, and I saw that Transfer was coming to Los Angeles, and I cold called her, and I said, "You have to hire me. You have to hire me today." I had written pieces of my undergraduate writing on Transfer Gallery artists. I had included her in my graduate thesis. And I was like, there's literally not another human being on this planet who knows the gallery program better than I do. If you don't hire me, you're a fucking moron. And she hired me. And I went down to Spring Break Art Fair in Los Angeles, and I helped to install the Transfer download. And ever since that moment, since I started working with Kalani, Kalani has taught me every single thing that I know about curating art, about working with art, about relating to artists. She was the blueprint to everything that I have been able to do in my short career. I was young, I was fresh out of grad school, and I was able to come in and hopefully try to bring a little bit of a new perspective and a younger generation of artists into the fold. The chance that I really got, my first huge curatorial opportunity was with the exhibition, Well Now, What the Fuck? It was 2020, and we were just in the beginning of the pandemic, and we were chronically online, and I was talking every single day to Faith Holland and Lorna Mills and Kalani Nicole in a Facebook Messenger message. And we decided that amidst all of this chaos, amidst not knowing what was going to happen next, we had to fucking do something. We had to put some kind of statement out into the world, and the answer was, well, now what the fuck, which you can see on the screen over here. It was a show of over 120 artists comprising the entirety of Transfer's history, among some brand new additions. And what we aimed to do was create something that communicated across the void, that in the absence of visiting exhibitions and visiting galleries and going to museums and seeing each other, we could connect online. And the core of that was the idea that the GIF, this medium that Kalani pioneered, that she was one of the first people on the planet to sell, was able to sell to a very happy buyer. We decided that this was the ultimate mode of communication. Anyone in the world can understand a GIF. Anyone can look at a GIF. Anyone can understand what the person creating it wants them to understand. And we created an entire exhibition around this concept. When we're cut off from each other, how do we communicate? How do we see each other? How do we feel each other? And the answer is, well, now what the fuck? There are so many artists I can't even speak to. I can't even speak about it in this show. I just encourage you to go online and check it out for yourself. But this was a really pivotal moment because this was right before the crypto boom of 2021. And this was right before people, for the first time, actually understood that, hey, this replicable file is actually worth something. Someone has made this, and this is speaking to me, and I can feel something inside of me, and it's changing me, and it's on my screen, it's on my computer, I'm sitting in my home, it's on my phone. It's not in a gallery space. It's not around other people. It's not in this vast social, physical context that we were so rooted in for so long. And that was really meaningful. Transfer Gallery is the only space that has fully dedicated itself to understanding how simulation, how 3D artwork is affecting our cognition, is changing our culture, is changing who we are as people. And it's been the privilege of my lifetime to start my career with this gallery. Times changed though, pandemic moved on and cryptocurrency became really popular. And we decided that amidst all of this change, let's just back up for a second. Let's look at a few of the historical precedents that were set. In thinking about distributed and collective action, what better example to look at than Lorna Mills's Ways of Something, where there were over 100 artists in that piece who were presented, and all of them took a cut of every sale of that work, which is now, oh my God, forgive me if I'm fucking this up, but in the Whitney collection. This piece was really the cornerstone for so many movements in collective value gathering around the world that emerged from the rise of cryptocurrencies and crypto art trading in 2021. As a result, we decided that we had been so early, Kalani had been so early to this moment, to selling work for Bitcoin in 2013. How many of you knew what Bitcoin was in 2013? We decided that in this moment of incredible change, we needed to make a statement. We needed to do something that staked our claim, but also that represented all of the work that had been up until this moment. And the answer to that was Pieces of Me. Piecesofme.online is an exhibition of artists who are responding to the crypto craze, who are responding to the moment in which economies inflated, digital art became valuable for the first time in its 50-plus year history, dating all the way back to the 40s, or that's 70 years. And Pieces of Me was an exhibition that asked every single artist to say what it meant for them to transact. As you heard, Transfer has always been a family. It's always been a space for social connection, for networking outside of the marketplace. But regardless, we all have a marketplace to face. There's a financial deadline at the end of the day where each and every single one of us needs to pay our rent and pay our taxes and, be able to exist in the society that we exist in. And in this show, artists were invited to contribute a work that responded to this question. What does it mean to you to transact? And amidst that, we received a total cornucopia of answers and responses. These ranged from people who totally wanted to abstain, people like Cassie McQuater, whose video game Black Room is sold for $10,000 a level. She said, I do not want to sell my work for an NFT. I would rather give you a statement about what it means to me to exist in this space. And her work was not available for sale. We had other artists who, for instance, you can see on screen, like Stacey Ant, who's not with us in person, but is there online, whose work speaks to what it means to see through the screen, what it means to sit at your computer and send out an NFT and hope that somebody out there will buy it and give you that money that you can use to pay your rent and continue to live on another day. This show was really meaningful because it was one of the first curatorial efforts in the NFT space, in the Web3 space, one that has become totally all-consuming of everything digital art in the past few years. We can't escape it whatsoever. And through this show, I hope that people one day will look back and see, oh, the people at the time, they were thinking about this and they were hoping that there would be a better future. And I'm really thankful for all of the artists who contributed to that piece. I'd love to hear from anybody who was in Pieces of Me, who wants to talk about what it meant to transition to this moment of Web3. Yeah, nobody wants to talk about NFTs? I thought so.
I mean, it's almost over. NFTs, right? I hope. This presentation is definitely almost over, but we have one more important stop on this train. A special artist that came into our life while we were in LA. So let's cue 2021. Pieces of Me was definitely still a thing all through 2021. And we remember, we got after a year of so after a year, the show was still relevant. Some of the nuances were coming out, and it became more and more written about. And there was a review in the New York Times after a year, still talking about the show. So it took us through a long time. Still, we're still working with Pieces of Me and evolutions of Pieces of Me, and it sort of has become what is the next chapter of Transfer, which is a big thing we're going to be sharing more about in the future. But I think to close out this evening, we want to bring up Huntress to say something. So Huntress did something that I had never seen in a gallery before. There she is. Everyone, welcome Huntress. So when I first saw Huntress's work, it was there was an iPad hanging on the wall in the gallery, and I kind of like walked up to the iPad, and then all of a sudden this thing popped into my face. And of course, it's a face filter, but you just never seen it on the wall of a gallery before. Like it was this moment where I was just like, oh wow, this is really interesting work. And so we started working together during the pandemic. We didn't have a physical space, but we did a show online. We did a show with Instagram, and we talked about the problematics of that and the challenges and the benefits, and it was a very special show. That work now is in the museum. It has made its way all the way to a historic survey of museum shows in just a few short years. And then Huntress also brought something into my life which I had never experienced, which was producing work for the Athens Biennale. And can we cue that video up here of Huntress at the Athens Biennale? Yeah, hopefully we can check this out. Oh, is it? I hope it's a video. Maybe it's just an image. But, oh yeah, it is. It is cool. And so this was such a huge production. If Andrew Blanton's still in the room, he also was a key part of this production, behind the scenes, helping us out to work with motion capture gear for the first time, and trying to bring Huntress into this world which she had created in real time. And it was such an incredible experience to produce this work with you, honey. It was so much fun. And you've really become a big part of the transfer family through all the generations. And we're all so happy that you came here tonight. And I want to give you the mic.
Wow. Hello, everybody. What a timeline. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, fully in the future now. Y'all are amazing. Thanks for everything, Kalani. Transfer has been such a journey for me. From suddenly having my work projected on the buildings of Los Angeles and having shows in the middle of the park and in the middle of quarantine outdoor. Like, I feel like it's been and then flying from place to place, Athens, and most recently over in Texas at Fort Worth for that museum show, and Miami, and now here. Wow, and I've seen a lot of you in some of those places, so I'm like, oh, wow, good to see y'all again. It really is such a great family that y'all have like brought together. It's such a great community with transfer, and I really feel super uplifted by everything that we've been doing. And I just wanted to say, I love transfer. That's it. Yeah. Wow.
All right. Well, with that, I think we are sort of in Act 3, and we're sort of starting to figure that out right now and figure out how we communicate about Act 3, what it is, and where we go from here. So let's cue our last video from Saul here to round out Act 3. Okay, and I think we're just gonna sort of speak in the dark mystery space over here. For those of you who are still here, you're probably really in this with me and have been in it with me. Thank you so much. I'm announcing a new initiative at Transfer. So in addition to this film, which is a project that will take us through the next many years in our history together, bringing together this story, bringing together all the documentation. We're now doing more and more museum shows, biennales. We're really excited. We have the Transfer Download. It's going to be an incredible museum institution coming in 2024, so look out for that. And Transfer is now focused on understanding what it means to leave a legacy behind with our artists. And we're also doing what we have been doing for many, many years now and bringing together these ideas of solidarity and what it means for us to come together and build our own sense of value, our own space of trust. And we're doing that. We're starting a data trust, all right? So we are going to be bringing together all of our works into a system we're calling the Transfer Archive. And this is not a platform. This is not an archive in the traditional sense in which you centralize and take things. Instead, it's about artists having sovereignty and owning that and having sort of control in a different way over their legacy. And so the way that the data trust works is we are going to be investing a lot in infrastructure. So those are hard drives in the studio of every artist, which are networked together through a decentralized technology. It allows them to create redundancy and have value and longevity in their work. It also allows us to assign a value. And there's, I think we have a great appraiser in the room, Muriel. There's a sort of system of valuing media art, which is based on doing a bunch of conservation research. Thank you, Regina. And then we can do a condition assessment. And then from a condition assessment, an appraiser can assess a value of work. So we're going to collectively do this now, myself and 12 artists to begin with, and hopefully the whole Transfer family and many, many more in the future. And once we're able to assign a value of work, we can then build equity together around the value in our work and the value in that work growing. And when I say when we're talking about works of art here, in this case, what we're talking about is data, and data has value. And so we're sort of building this system which is going to bring that kind of value into the world in a different way. It's a big idea. It's a really nerdy idea. It's also something that like doesn't quite exist. So like many things that transfer has done, it's a hard idea to communicate. It's a hard idea to illustrate. It's weird to talk about. It represents essentially reversal, right? The way the art world works right now is you're an artist, I'm a gallerist, I take your work. Take it from you, I hold it in my inventory. I have control over it, I give you a contract, I tell you what the terms are. You pay this, I'll pay you this percentage when a work sells. I take the money, I distribute the money. Okay, what this is gonna do is reverse all of that, right? So you're an artist, you retain your work, you hold your inventory. I'm gonna give you a set of tooling in which you host and own that tooling and you can manage it yourself. And then you're gonna tell me what I can sell. You're gonna give me rights as an agent to your work, and you're gonna also then say what you want to pay me. When a transaction happens, the collector is going to be transacting with you and your studio directly, which I believe is the way it should be. And all of the transactions will be automated, of course, through the magic of blockchain. We can do all this tooling now, right? It's not a problem. We just have to want to do it. And this project is not something that's ever going to scale. It's not something that's ever going to be worth buku bucks. And it's a moment where Transfer Now at 10 is really transitioning from presenting as a gallery to now this data trust, this organization that maintains this data trust that we then carry into the future. So I'm going to be doing a lot of nerdy stuff based out of Miami. It's nice there. It's sunny. I get to chill, go to the beach, sit in front of my computer. And we're going to be building out this archive, essentially. We're going to be updating all the works. You've started to see a lot of the history here tonight. We're going to be bringing those works into the future, new hardware, new software, get everything in the repo, make sure we have all the resources together. So this is a labor of love. It's something that's going to take us many, many years to do. Something we're going to do out in the open and share with everyone and invite everyone also into the process. I've been pursuing a grant for about 1.5 years, which for those of you who know me is not something I've really ever done before. And just make my money and then spend it on y'all. And we're doing it a little differently now. We took our time. We're trying to find support, as Barry pointed out, very plainly. We haven't gone that route. Like we haven't wanted to answer to what is required for those kinds of constraints. So this is a new move for us. We're going to do it. We're going to do it slowly. We're getting all kinds of interesting partners together and collaborators right now. And I hope that some part of that started to resonate with you. I hope that planted some kind of seed in your mind about what this project is or could or should or might be. You can search, if you're curious, to get nerdy with it. You put in Transfer Archive Protocol Dev Grants. There's a public page there where we've proposed our dev grant and what we want to see come into the world around this. We're hoping to get some support from that foundation along with others. And yeah, we're really curious to grow out a new model of care and trust. And we think that this, if you think of the story arc from 2013, all the way now to this idea of us building solidarity together and really taking control of the cultural value that we're building together and have been building together. I think that's going to usher in sort of a new phase in what it means to, see value in your data as an artist and really own that data, be able to defend it and value it and maintain it in a way. So that's a little teaser at where we're going, and we are way over time. And I appreciate all of you for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for all of this. Another round of applause for the amazing crew that's been helping us bring all this story into the light. As you can see, we're still in the dark for most of it, but we're moving towards the light. So I encourage you all to have a drink on your way out. There will be an after party. The link is in the email. A bunch of us can walk over together. We love you. Thank you for coming. Thank you again to NYU IDM for letting us stay past call time. I hope that's okay. We're about to kick all these people out, though. Everyone, thank you for coming tonight.